Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan and this channel is dedicated to skincare for skin of colour. As you know, I'm a doctor, but I'm also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of colour. Right, so today's video has been requested over and over again, and that is a review of Selfless by Hyram. And the big question is it suitable for skin of colour? He has been very kind, has sent me the whole range. So I will be reviewing it for you. If that sounds good to you, give me a thumbs up. Let's dive right in. Okay, so my initial thoughts, first of all, let's talk a little bit about Hyram. I think Hyram has been a game changer on social media. I think he's really set the tone of how people should speak to each other with respect and be more generous and have more empathy, actually. I think if you look at my earlier videos, I was probably a lot harsher with my reviews. And actually just watching how kind he was with his reviews, even when he was, you know, bashing somebody, he was really quite funny and sweet about it. And actually it really did change the way that I talk on my social media. It stopped me putting negativity out there, and it definitely helped me soften my language. So I think he's had an impact on me, and I think he's had a huge impact on the next generation. So we really can't underestimate him. I think if you initially look at him, you would think, oh, he's a young lad with, no background in skincare. How on earth did he do this? How much does he really know? Having done this job on YouTube and reviewing brands myself, I can safely say that I would call myself an expert on brands globally, because when you do this day in, day out, and you are looking at inky list, so you're looking at the ingredients list at the back of packaging every day. I've done almost 200 videos just reviewing brands. You get very good at knowing what you would want in your own brand and the classic mistakes that people are making, just copying each other. I mean, just take The Ordinary, for example. The Ordinary came up, and how many copycat brands came out and literally used exact same percentages as The Ordinary, and fell for the same mistake. So for example, 10% niacinamide was too high and can lead to reactions. And then how many brands out there are there with 10% niacinamide, because they literally just copied The Ordinary? And so this is what you learn actually doing this job, is where the mistakes are with people's brands, and thinking, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake, which he didn't. He actually, with his niacinamide, for example, he went for 5%, which is the correct percentage. Between 2 to 5% is really where the clinical studies are based at. So I think credit where credit is due. I think it's incredibly difficult to start a brand. I know myself with the whole Dr. V kits, for example. This took me a year of stress, of headache, of packaging, of am I getting all the ingredients that I need? Have I got all the tests that I need, etc. It's not an easy journey, even though it's been powered by the Inky List. I would say anybody that decides to embark upon this journey and create a skincare brand, hats off to you, because it is expensive to do. It takes a huge amount of time, and he did it quietly. He didn't even talk about it. Me, I talk about everything a year in advance because I have such a big mouth. I can't keep a secret. But he was working really hard actually on his videos and TikTok and everything else, and doing this simultaneously, which I don't think I could have done. So I do want to start off on a positive note, because I think that he has done an outstanding job. Right, having said this, and you do know that I respect him, having said this, I do owe it to you, myself, and to him to review this as if I didn't didn't know anything about him, and I haven't met him in person either. So I do want to do this because it's important for our Skin of Colour family to see whether it's worth our money or not. And also, if I think there are things that he needs to tweak, then I also think it's important to do that too, because feedback is really how we all improve, including myself. Feedback on my kits is how I improve my kits. So let's do this. Okay, starting off with the first product, which is the Centella and Green Tea Cleanser. Okay, so look at the ingredients list. The first ingredient is water, obviously. Then he goes into glycerin as the second ingredient. That's very good because it means that it's going to be hydrating. Don't forget, the inky list are the ingredients at the back of the packaging, and they're in descending order. So water is number one, so it's got the greatest amount. He's probably used about 80%. 85-90% of water in here. Then he's gone into glycerin. Actually, he must have used less. Must have used about 75%, 80% water in this, because glycerin he's used at 14.5%, which is actually quite high, which means it is a hydrating cleanser. The next ingredients are Coco Glucoside, which is a cleansing agent and is mild. And he's paired this with his secondary surfactant, which is Cocamidopropyl betaine, which is a very popular secondary surfactant because it gives you that rich, lathery foam finish, but is also gentle, which is really what I look for when it comes to skin of color. The number one mistake people make is that they overstrip the skin, and then you have sensitive skin, and any actives you put on top is going to irritate the skin, which I do not want. I really like this formula specifically for dry to normal skin. I wouldn't use this for oily skin because it doesn't have any salicylic acid in it. It is a safe product, so no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, no essential oils, and it is Dr. V approved. So I would go out and purchase this product. Okay, so the next product is the Salicylic Acid and Sea Kelp. So just to show you what it looks like, it does come out really runny, really fast. Oh, that's not so fast. So that's what it looks like on. Okay, right, so going through the ingredients, it's got 0.5% salicylic acid, which I like, and it's a good percentage to start off at. So when you are 11, 12, 13 years old and you're starting to get oily acne prone skin, I like 0.5% salicylic. He's also used 5% niacinamide, which I love too because it controls sebum. And he hasn't fallen into the trap of the 10% niacinamide. And he's also used 2% succinic acid. There's very little evidence, to be honest, to support this particular ingredient. So I don't know how effective it's going to be against acne, but the hero ingredients he's got right, which is the salicylic acid and the niacinamide. I really like this product. It is NAF safe and it is Dr. V approved for oily acne prone skin, and I'm happy it's gentle enough for you to use from your early teen years. And really this is important for skin of color because I don't want you to wait until you have cystic acne, when you're 15, 16 years old, and now you're left with a lot of PIH and PIE. There's the red marks and the brown marks. And then cystic acne can then lead to rapid loss of collagen when it bursts, and then you get the textured skin as well, which is extremely difficult to treat. And this is why I always say with skin of color, get in early. And our children should really have a good skincare regime from a young age. As young as 3 to 10 need to have their own skincare regime. Then from 11 to 18 they need to have a different skincare routine. You know what, I'm just thinking, would you like me to make you a video for 3 to 10? So the skincare routine, for example, I give for my daughter Sienna. Can you write that down, yes or no, below if that interests you? If not, that's fine too. Okay, moving on to the next product, which is niacinamide and maracuja. So this is what it looks like. It does have a nice texture, I'd say. It is a very thin moisturizer. I do tend to opt for fattier moisturizers on skin of color because we do tend to have drier skin because we have less ceramides in our skin. It's essentially a 5% niacinamide cream. That's what this basically is. I like it, but it is expensive. It's £24 for 50 mils. So for a 5% niacinamide cream, that feels like a lot. Plus, if you're using the salicylic acid, it's already got 5% niacinamide in it. So I probably wouldn't double up on the niacinamide. So it's either or. Either use this or the salicylic acid. I personally prefer the salicylic acid. So I would recommend that. It is NAF safe. I do like it. And if you're looking for a 5% niacinamide cream, purchase it. I think you might want to top up though with a fattier moisturiser on top, such as CeraVe or Cetraben. But if you have, for example, if you have any erythema of the skin, as redness of the skin, sensitivity of the skin, if you have rosacea, then it's worth getting this product, or you know, 5%, any other 5% niacinamide gel or moisturizer. Okay, so the next product is the Retinol and Rainbow Algae, and it does come up really fast. Literally just got it out onto my hand. Okay, right, so let's go through this. So this is £28 for 30 mils, so that's about £1 a mil. It is quite expensive. I do like the formula though, and it's 0.2% retinol, so it's a great percentage for skin of color. I always opt for 0.5% or less for skin of color. It is encapsulated again, which means you have better penetration of the retinol and it's less irritating. And again, I prefer that for skin of color. And I'm going to tell you, as a cosmetic formulator myself, retinol that's encapsulated is more expensive than retinol on its own. So I think that's probably contributing to the price of this. It's also got 2% tranexamic acid in it, which I love. I love that ingredient, and at 2% it's a correct percentage. You always want your ingredients to be in the therapeutic index. So often an ingredient will be in there, but it's not in the therapeutic index. It's more there for marketing. So it's important that my Dr. V Inky hackers, which you guys all are, know what percentages we're looking at, so you know whether something's working or not. Okay, so I love this formula because the way it's working is basically it's increasing cell turnover with the vitamin A, and then it's got the tranexamic acid acting as the tyrosinase inhibitor, slowing down melanin production. So I think this is going to be really good for those who have as an anti-aging, anti-pigmentation solution. If, however, you do have stubborn pigmentation and you've tried this for a good 3 to 6 months and you haven't seen a reduction, then you might want to move on to the Dr. V Facial Pigmentation Kit, which has 8 to 10 tyrosinase inhibitors in it. And it's basically just every single tyrosinase inhibitor for skin of color. It's not something and this is the Dark Circles kit, it's not something you're going to ever find on the shelf, because there's just far too many actives in it all at once. But this is a great first step. I would say start with this first, because you're basically tackling 2 parts of the pigmentation pathway, and do it for a good 3 to 6 months. So you're getting a good 3 to 6 cell cycles. Don't forget, when you're 30 years old, you have about 30-day cell cycle. Yeah, so it's a really great first step for anti-aging, anti-discoloration. Okay, so moving on to the Mandelic Acid plus Rice Bran. This one is my favorite product from the range, I would say, actually. Let me just show you what it looks like. It comes out really liquidy. I personally think this would work better in a pump, because it literally just squirts out, and it's basically a liquid in a tube, which is, I think packaging, just feedback on packaging is a spray might just be a little bit more controlled when it comes out. Okay, so the ingredients are 3% mandelic acid. That's my favorite AHA for skin of color, especially for the face. It's got 2.5% gluconolactone, which is the PHA, which is basically works similar to an AHA, but is more gentle, more hydrating. I love it for skin of color. And he's added 0.5% phytic acid, which again, correct percentage and great for skin of color. And he's also added the BHA 0.5% salicylic acid. So this is basically an AHA, BHA, PHA exfoliator. It's NAFE safe. I would apply this in the evenings 1 to 2 a week. It's non-irritating. And this is definitely a Dr. V approved product. This one's my favorite. So on his website, he does obviously say make sure you follow during the day with your SPF 50. So just in case you don't know about Inzincable, this is a no white cast mineral sunscreen SPF 50 with maximum UVA protection. So that's your PA 4+s. Specifically for skin of color with MelaShield in it, which is basically a tyrosinase inhibitor to reduce pigmentation for skin of color during the day. So in this range, he's put a retinol and mandelic acid. So both of these can sensitize your skin to UV, which is one of the primary reasons you want to be using your SPF 50. But also, UVA stands for aging and UVB stands for burning, and both rays can also lead to cancer. So for skin of color, we also need to be vigilant with your SPF 50. The melanin in our skin gives us approximately SPF 15, which is virtually, you know, it's not much. I wouldn't even tell you to wear an SPF 15 moisturizer. Really, it is SPF 50 is what we should all be aiming for. Don't forget, I'm in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single video. Please do write down whichever videos you want me to make next for you. Don't forget to download your free guide for skincare for skin of color down below too. Please do follow me on Instagram at the Hyperpigmentation Clinic and at Skincare by Dr. V, and on TikTok at Dr. Vanita Rattan. Thank you very much. Bye.